Welcome back to my channel. Some coffee, hold on. What are we gonna call this? We're gonna call it Fern's Corner, maybe. Jump right into this. Let's talk about calisthenics frustrations, desires, and fears. Before we get into this, let me just introduce myself. My name's Fernando Castro in Spanish, and in English, it's Fernando Castro. If you've been following me or you've been subscribed to me, you would know me from probably the competitions in the US. You probably met me in the US or in Texas, or you probably met me in Miami, New York, or just see me on Instagram and just follow me. Or maybe on TikTok, or maybe on YouTube, I don't know. I don't know. But thank you for watching this. I've been doing calisthenics since, if I'm correct, I would say 2014, but that's just when I started working out. In 2014, I started working out, and then I guess 2016 is when I knew what calisthenics was, and I was like, okay, I want to train calisthenics. So I started, I would say 2016 or 2017, one of those 2 years. Let's just say 2016. From there to now, I could say that I've done calisthenics for almost 8 years now, 9, maybe 8. I started my whole team here in Texas. It's called Cali Bar Nation.
Got the fits on my ex in the hood cause they think I'm the one who's behind the blocks and shit. I'm just focused on music. They say my last tape was a classic, but I got some hotter shit. I be rocking the show, if I'm not up in the studio, I'm fucking this cash off. Don't you know Polo just getting tall with the dreads, little nigga.
And I competed around the US. I've won some, I lost some. I've gone against the top guys. I've actually gone against one of the top guys from Brazil. His name's Tavares. If you guys know him, he's a good guy. So I've been around. I can do some skills. That's just me. So now let's talk about calisthenics frustrations. Let's start with the 5. Actually, no, let's start with 1. Calisthenics frustrations. Struggling with proper form. As a beginner, a lot of people, me as a beginner, I didn't have the guidance. I would just look up YouTube videos and I would just look up body weight workouts or chest workouts at home, blah, 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 and I would do them. But as a beginner, I didn't know what calisthenics was. I didn't know what a planche was, a front lever, freestyle, handstand. Well, I knew what a handstand was. I wouldn't know or what I was doing to get to this point right now. I was just doing stuff just to do it. So I never had a coach. I self-taught myself pretty much everything. Not pretty much, literally everything. Over years, it was just me and my own, failing and trying all over again. And now I want to be your big bro and tell you what's wrong. I guess the fear of that will be struggling or getting injured, having poor technique. So before you even try anything, look up how to do a proper push-up, pull-up, all that. And then your desire to that would be mastering foundational movements like basics. So push-ups, dips, pull-ups, squats. So that would be point number 1. Point number 2 would be, another frustration would be slow progress. Your fears would be not seeing results, basically, or not building muscle, which is your desire. You want to build muscle with calisthenics. A lot of people say you can't do it, but you actually can. I'm one of the, the examples, and there's other people that are the examples. Anyways, point 3, difficult performing pull-ups. This is a frustration. When I started, I couldn't do pull-ups. I could do like 8. I remember I would do 8 and then it would be like, yeah, it was just 8 pull-ups, but they were not even like proper form. I was just counting them as 8, but I didn't know what I was doing back then. So that was 8 pull-ups, and your fear to that would be plateauing progress. You could be stuck at 8 pull-ups for a year, but are you actually doing them right? So you could say you can do 8 pull-ups like this, or you could say you can do 8 pull-ups from here, all the way up, all the way down, and then maybe you pass and break that plateau. Your desires to that will be unlocking advanced skills, so pull-ups, or then once you master the pull-ups, which is mastering foundational movements, will lead you to a muscle-up. That's what it will be, and then a muscle-up will lead you to pull-up, muscle-up to handstand, and weighted pull-ups, and then weighted muscle-ups, and then front lever, blah, 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 etc. Lack of flexibility and effective performance. I'm I'm guilty of this one. From 2016 all the way to 2021, I didn't warm up. I didn't warm up. I didn't stretch, and I didn't take my mobility serious. I would just jump in. Let's say I will go to the park with my best friend, and we're gonna work out, and then I would just get into it. And I regret that when I started, because now I have pain everywhere, like my wrists, both my wrists, my elbows, my shoulders. I have messed up shoulders. Sometimes my back hurts for no reason, or my lower back when I wake up. I should really get that checked out, but that's because I didn't train or focus on mobility or warmed up back then. Now I do. I have like 30 minutes, not 30, I would say 15, maybe sometimes 30, depends on how I feel. Most of the time it's just 15. I would do stretching, dynamic stretching, static stretching, and then I would do some like 10 push-ups, 10 pull-ups to warm up. I would use some bands to warm up, some rehab, and then lastly I will do some cardio. I could be doing like jump rope, or I could be doing on the bicycle for 5 minutes. And that's my warm up. And then I feel good. And I'm ready to go. But that's what I do pretty much every day. If I'm so sore, I would just do that and then just stretch or grab a roller and stretch my body out until I feel better. And that will take me up to 30 minutes. Sometimes, not always. Okay, and the fears of that will be failing in front of others. Feeling embarrassed. How many people, myself included, have been embarrassed to go to the gym or just doing something, even in my room when I would just train by myself. I would hope like my brothers and my mom didn't walk in on me, not for the wrong reasons, but me doing like a handstand and barely holding or seeing me upside down. Back then I was like, oh, I don't want them to find out that I was doing this stuff because I couldn't do it right. I was embarrassed. Or at school, I would hide from everybody else. I remember in lunch breaks, which was 30 minutes, I would literally take my food somewhere away. Like in this instance, in my high school, there was this dip bars that nobody would go to, and it was just rusty white dip bars, and I would just go there by myself for 30 minutes. I would literally work out after I eat, and I was just there by myself. And when people walk by, I would put my hands on the dip bars or just chill there until they pass. And then I get back on it. And sometimes I would be embarrassed because one time I did do a handstand, I fell, and people saw me. Oh my god! And I just didn't want anybody seeing me do that. So when I took it to the gym, it was even more embarrassing because I didn't want people to see me do calisthenics because I wasn't lifting weights, and people were like, "What is he doing? Go do that at home," or blah blah blah. So I would literally do the bare minimum at the gym. And long story short, I don't care anymore. I just do my own thing because I hope I can motivate somebody there, which I have, and that's really good. And my goal now is just growing the community. The desires for that would be increasing flexibility and mobility and having confidence in the stuff that I do, which I do now. Do I really need to explain that? Yeah, I mean, if I go to the gym and I do calisthenics and people see me doing it, like, oh wow, that's so cool, then that means I win because now I've inspired at least somebody, or I teach them about calisthenics. I have a lot of people coming up to me when I do calisthenics at the gym, and I tell them, oh yeah, you should come with us. You can do like 10 pull-ups. Oh, you should learn a muscle up now. Or if you can do 10 dips, you can do an L sit, blah, blah, blah. You can do a dragonfly. Come freestyle with us on Mondays. So that's the good part of me. 2 years ago, I wish I had friends that did it, but I didn't have that. So I did it on my own. And then years later, people just started coming towards me. Last thing, overcoming mental barriers. This one's a good one. Your fears, getting discouraged, and giving up. When this all comes back to being embarrassed, I would just, quit. Sometimes I quit calisthenics. I'd say quit for like, one time it was for 1 month and one time it was for 2 weeks. Why? Because I was like, F this, I can't do it anymore. It's just pointless. Like I said before, plateaus. I was like, oh, plateaus. I'm just in the same spot for years. I was like, what's going on? So I just quit. I was like, you know what? F this. And then I gave up. I was discouraged. I learned not to quit like this quote says, quit, learn to quit, not rest. So I was just discouraged. I wasn't gonna quit. I was just discouraged, and I did get upset when I couldn't do anything. Sometimes I would force myself to go work out, or I would work out 7 days a week. So I guess that took a big hit on me. I had a lot of, I want to say, pressure on me, but I would work out 7 days a week, and it would be the same push pull every day, just because I was naive. I was training just to train, and then when I got to competitions, it got even worse because I would just train, and my muscles, I was basically overtraining at that point, and that it took a toll on me. For 2 years I was doing that, and it's finally, I guess I matured as a person to the point that I only train at least 3 to 5 days a week, and I actually take 2 rest days, and I don't do anything. I force myself not to do anything, even though I want to. I don't do handstands on those rest days anymore. I will just focus on resting and just getting ready for the next load or the next week. And then the desires to that, building a mental toughness discipline. Sometimes you gotta go through that to get to the good part. So sometimes you gotta get through a storm. Sometimes you gotta walk through the storm. But I will learn to be more patient and be disciplined. Like doing calisthenics and achieving a certain type of skill or level, it shows your discipline. You can't just be in the weights. It's the same thing with weights. You can literally go to a bench press, put some weight, slap some weight on, and then just go high, and just repeat every week, and maybe you'll get stronger. But having the skill and the level to just do a full planche or a full front lever or a front lever pull-up, like that takes time. Like I don't even have a full planche yet. Well, I had it, and then I got injured, and then I just missed like a straddle. I can do presses and push-ups, but I want full planche. It's not the same. And I used to weigh 140 back then. Now I weigh 175. Yeah, 175. You could say I bulked. Sort of. But yeah, developing mental toughness and discipline. So, if this video motivated you, this is my first time doing a video like this. I would love to share more of my story of how I started with calisthenics. It's so messed up how I started, and then leading up to now. I built my own team, my own brand, and I basically am helping you guys doing this stuff too. So my goal now, back then, it was just to be the best in the world. Now it's just about building community. I don't care about myself anymore. At least it's, as a person who just works out, or as an athlete, yeah, I want to be the best, but building a community is better in the long run for me over time. So yeah, I could be the best right now. Let's say in Texas, I don't like saying that, but I am one of the best ones here. And my goal is to be one of the best in the US. And then maybe compete outside of the US. But I'm more focused on building a community here now than being the best. Well, I guess it's par and par. I want to do both. But I hope you're ready to master your body weight training and transform your fitness. If you want to learn more about calisthenics or you want to kickstart your journey, send me a DM on my Instagram. I'll put it somewhere. I think it's here. Yeah, I've coached a lot of people. I've coached a lot of athletes at the freestyle now, which they're my team now. See how that goes? This video helped you. I got more of these calisthenics frustrations, desires, and fears. I have more of them. I just don't want to throw everything in one video. But this is just me explaining how I did it, or what I went through, or explaining just what it means. For recap, calisthenics frustrations. Let's start with part 1. Struggling with proper form, slow progress, difficulty performing pull-ups or any basic movement, lack of flexibility and effective performance, and overcoming mental barriers. Now, fears. Getting injured, poor technique, not seeing results, plateauing with progress, failing in front of others, feeling embarrassed, getting discouraged, and giving up. Now, desires. Mastering mastering foundational movements, building muscle and strength, unlocking advanced skills, increasing flexibility, and developing mental toughness and discipline. If this sounds like you, send me a DM or just a comment, and then we can get you started on calisthenics. I'll get you a free program. You're welcome.